In this video, we're going to be reviewing the Ping G440 driver. The big question is, can Ping keep up with the big boys in terms of ball speed and total distance? Welcome back to the channel, folks. Great to see you again. We're really excited to get our hands on the Ping G440 driver, give that a test today and see how this performs. Ping is synonymous with creating great drivers, in particular with consistency, stability, functionality of control and direction, but not necessarily always creating drivers that create the highest ball speeds, the highest total distances. Ping are looking to change that narrative and create a blend of consistency, ability to control ball flight, but really creating explosive distances, hitting the ball as far as you can. It will be fascinating to see if they've been able to accomplish that today. This is not going to be an easy task. Ping have brought out some really solid driver candidates over the last few years. So since 2017, we've had G400, G410, G425, G430, and now we're up to G440. All of those models are super credible candidates in terms of high level of functionality, decent speed-wise in terms of ball speed, total distance, and have been great, in particular for recreational golfers that we deal with, have been super functional. So it's going to be interesting to see how this new driver lines up. Let's not also forget the G430 10K was a smash success. It's interesting that some of the technology that's using that driver is being obviously incorporated within the G440. Let's talk about the tech story and how the new Ping G440 is different to existing models. All of the G440 range encompass the carbon fly wrap. This is where the carbon crown attaches to the frame of the driver. This has enabled mass saving, weight saving, which helps you as the golfer transport the club faster. Interestingly enough, this technology was only in the LST and the laterally released 10K last year. All of the faces in the range are shallower. Subsequently, Ping have been able to remove mass and remove weight, whilst also being able to encompass that technology with a slightly higher launch angle. The new free hosel system has enabled Ping to accomplish more mass saving, more weight saving. Existing shafts from the G430 range will fit into this driver. Ping are already on the limit in terms of their CT rating in the middle of the face, so that's how the ball reacts off the face. But one of their primary functions is to try and increase the CT rating in the rest of the face. So say for example, if centre-to strike isn't middled, it's going to enable a better performance as you get further away from the sweet spot. Ping's CG shifter, which is the tungsten weight at the back of the club, is heavier in this version, and that's because of all the different weight savings right through the club. That's also enabled Ping to pull the CG lower and more back to help to get that launch angle higher. The only time this will change is when you go into higher launch options for the Max and the SFT, where the CG shifter is actually at 23 grams. Because of the technology behind this head launching the ball higher, this has facilitated golfers to use a lower loft. Subsequently, this has yielded increased distance. Because of the new shape of the head, slightly more rounder than existing versions, this has enabled Ping to aerodynamically change the shape of the head and subsequently remove mass out. The SFT head now offer a 9-degree option where it didn't previously. The acoustics of this driver is slightly more muted than previous versions. This is partly due to the shape of the head, the slightly more rounder head, but also internally there's a rib system which changes the dynamics of the acoustics. Due to the invent of high MOI right across the face in this new family, Ping have come up with a strategy of utilising a longer shaft. Stereotypically, a golfer who uses a longer shaft would see more changeable strike location, but because of the properties of these heads, this facilitates greater distance. Standard shafts are going to play at 46 inches in the range, whilst aftermarket shafts are going to play at 45.5 inches. So these are the heads. This is the G440 driver family for 2025. 3 heads. Let's run through these to give you a brief synopsis of what they might offer you as the golfer. First up, the Ping G440 LST. That stands for low spin technology. This driver is perfect for players looking to prioritise low spin, high distance, a more compact tool-look footprint. The Ping G440 Max driver is all about providing a golfer with a club that is forgiving and adjustable, which maximises driver distance, consistency and control. The Max's high MOI head will suit a wide range of players. The G440 SFT straight flight technology is all about combating a slice or a fade, whilst also benefiting from increased forgiveness, high levels of customization and consistent performance. This will help you hit the ball further, higher and straighter. The Max and the SFT versions offer a high launch option, and that's done in 3 different ways. A reduced CG shifter, that's down to 23 grams, a reduced shaft weight with the Alta Quick, and a reduced grip weight with the Lamkin UTX. This will be ideal for players who struggle with low launches, low ball flight. Ideal for a player who wants to increase their launch angle and hit the ball higher. Let's check these heads out then. So first up is the LST. So see, sole weight looks pretty clean, isn't it? Nice looking head. Like how kind of the sweet spot is framed here. Turbulators are still in situ in terms of creating that stability. Carbon crown, carbon kind of base, moulded to the kind of steel frame there. We can see the weighting system at the back. So there's 3 weight ports here. We've got fade, neutral and draw. Currently in the draw setting, just from a recent fitting that we've done. And this is the 9-degree head there. Great looking head, certainly a good looking head, really neutral, really clean, isn't it? A little bit deeper top to bottom this guy than the rest of the range. Aerodynamically kind of shaped in a slightly different way. The G440 LST is all about low spin performance. If you're that high spinning golfer, this is the head for you. This head comes in 460cc and the footprint of this driver is more compact, it'll be a bit more traditional, a bit more rounded. This head comes in 9 and 10.5. Coupled with that, that's also got loft sleeve capability where it can go up and down 1.5 either way. In spite of its low spin design, the LST driver still offers exceptional forgiveness with super high MOI, with perimeter weighting, ensuring even off-center hits with this guy is super functional. The forged face and face flexing technology in this driver is really all about trying to create maximum ball speed, maximum distances. The tungsten weighting system gives you scope to shift CG subject to your ball flight tendencies. And the loft sleeve also gives you capacity to change lie angle, again linked into your ball flight tendencies. Aerodynamically, the driver family has been designed to offer a sleek design to reduce drag and friction and thus help you increase your club head speed, ball speed and total distance. The adjustability in the loft sleeve and the weighting system offers you a great tool to fine-tune this driver. The forged face and variable thickness technology is a big part of the Ping story in terms of increasing the ball speed whilst maintaining that high MOI. Ultimately, this driver is about trying to create as much speed and as much total distance whilst not losing that functionality on off-center hits. The LS head exhibits a slightly different footprint to the rest of the range. Slightly deeper, not as shallow, not as elongated, slightly different aerodynamic profile, but still really consistent in terms of cutting through the air and reducing drag and friction. The shallow face and compact head design of this family is a really unique feature. Generally speaking, you'll tend to see as you work through a family that the head shape can change quite dramatically, but there's actually not much tangible change in this. The LST is definitely a different footprint compared to the Max and the SFT. But actually, even the Max and the FST really sit great, really sit quite square. Actually, you know, looking at it from player perspective, look like a super usable driver. Don't really look bulky, don't really look big or cumbersome. Ping have been able to save weight and increase stability through the materials they've used in this driver. This weight saving has facilitated the increase in club head speed, whilst the distribution of mass has improved stability and forgiveness on off-center hits. Next up, the Max. So, slightly different head shape, isn't it? A little bit shallower, a little bit longer, a little bit leaner. Same kind of top with the turbulator. So the steel frame is attached to the carbon crown. Kind of flip this over, you can see nice clean look on the bottom. This is the 9-degree Max head that we've got in our hand at the minute. 3 different weighting systems at the back again. Draw, neutral, fade. This is subject to the player's ball flight tendencies. Face is the same there, isn't it? This is a good looking club, isn't it? For a Max version, that sits great. That really sits quite neutral, doesn't it? Like that a lot. It's going to offer high levels of functionality. It's going to be a good club, that. The G440 Max is for the golfer looking for maximum forgiveness and distance. The high MOI head maximises forgiveness while keeping spin rates down to increase total distance. It's also for the golfer who's looking for adjustability. This has got great scope to alter the loft sleeve and the weighting system at the back. This will help you fine-tune your launch conditions based on your current ball flight. This driver is a real all-rounder, suitable for all skill levels and offers great versatility. If you're looking for a driver that offers more forgiveness and more functionality, this is the guy for you. The Max driver offers the highest MOI in the G440 lineup. Super usable, so whether you're hitting it in the middle of the face or on off-center strikes, the functionality with this driver is incredible. This driver is specifically designed to reduce spin and maintain high launch, so great for launch conditions. The Max has got great versatility in terms of the loft sleeve, giving you scope to move 1.5 either way. This is great for fine tuning and creating the optimum launch conditions. The Max has also got a 29 gram weight in the back, which allows you to shift CG subject to your ball flight conditions. The 29 gram weight in the back of the Max head can be shifted subject to your ball flight. So say for example, if you struggled with a fade or a slice, you would put the weight more into the draw setting. Conversely, if you were more a drawer or a hooker, you could put the weight more into the fade to combat that. This head comes in 9, 10.5 and 12. The high performance forged face is one of the primary reasons why this club has got such high MOI. Variable face thickness not only makes this driver super functional, but also exhibits high ball speeds and offers far greater consistency right across the face. High MOI and stability makes it super usable, super functional, so wherever you're hitting on the face, you're going to exhibit more speed, more energy, more distance, but also as well as the ability to control the ball flight from a directional control standpoint. The tungsten weighting system offers low CG. This helps maintain high launch conditions, but high levels of functionality and better overall stability and consistency. Aerodynamically, this head is quite shallow, it's quite long and lean, almost looks like kind of racing car style ability to cut through the air, and this is one of the reasons why this club is fast and quick. Aerodynamically, this driver is super efficient due to its shallow, long, lean design, helps reduce drag, reduce friction. SFT, same in terms of turbulators, top of the crown there, carbon crown knitted on to the frame of the club. The fitting system is different on this head, so you can see that we've got a draw plus and a draw. Because of the internal weighting, essentially we've got two draw settings on the back. This is the amped up draw setting, and this is the kind of the watered down draw setting, where in the other drives we've almost got like a draw neutral fade. This is unique to that slicer, that fader, looking to try and reduce that ball flight. This is going to be a really good option for you guys, and it's going to offer really high levels of functionality. Face is the same, you know, still sits pretty good, that, isn't it? Good looking head, profile similar to the Max, isn't it? Shallow, elongated, aerodynamically really efficient. The G440 SFT driver is for the golfer who exhibits a fade or slice ball flight. The primary focus of this driver is for players who have high levels of side spin off the tee and fundamentally are looking to try and hit more straight shots with reduced curve. It's also made for the golfer looking for consistency and high levels of adjustability. It's also for the golfer looking for a driver that offers high levels of forgiveness. Forgiveness and the adjustability features in this driver make a solid choice for golfers looking for consistency even on off-centre hits. It also offers great launch conditions, high launch, low spin to try and maximise distance whilst maintaining control. The G440 SFT is a draw bias driver with internal weighting positioned to help that fader or slicer. Subsequently, this will help deliver a more neutral ball flight for you in your golf. If you're a fader or a slicer, this is the driver for you. It's been specifically designed to help someone like you in mind to hit straighter golf shots. The SFT's high MOI head offers great forgiveness. This translates to high level of functionality on off-centre hits. Even if you're not hitting the sweet spot, this driver will help you hit relatively straight and long shots, which helps you reduce loss of distance and loss of ball flight control. This will help you create a more penetrating ball flight to increase your carry distance and total distance. This head comes in 9 and 10.5 and offers great versatility in loft change. The loft sleeve allows you to go up and down 1.5 either way. Having this versatility is great for ball flight changes. In the event if you're starting to hit it lower or higher, you've got the capacity to then factor that in. As with the other heads, the forged face and variable face thickness is great for maximising ball speeds and ensuring even on off-centre hits that you are maximising distance. This driver has a 23 gram tungsten weight in the back and offers only a neutral and a draw setting. Unlike the other settings, it's got a draw, neutral and fade. This is very much derived to helping that slicer, that fader, start to reduce or eradicate that ball flight. All right, let's get started then. So first set I've got is the LST, got 9 degree. Put the weight in fade to allow for my bad shot. And let's see how we get on here. Just want to get a few shots in my belt, see how this goes. Let's get stuck in. Stuck in there. Good looking head this. Looks tidy. Looks nice with that carbon crown. Still got the turbulators on there. Overall good looking head that. Right, Denali in here. Let's give this a whack, see how we get on. Yeah, first impressions are good. I like this. Not necessarily always linked to maybe it's the most beautiful golf clubs in the world, but highly functional. But this looks good. This is really usable. Even though it's like an LST, it's not launching like super low, which is pretty good. Sometimes you find that some of these LSTs, they do really see a significant reduction in the ball flight in terms of launch and peak height. Spinny, very spinny. I've always got to try different shafts out, isn't it? In some of the manufacturers have actually hit that Denali quite good. Kind of blend just didn't feel great with this head, so it doesn't necessarily make it a bad shaft. Long-winded point I'm trying to get to is, from head to head, certain shafts might work, some shafts might not work. And hypothetically, I don't know if you've got a G430 with a certain shaft in, is that going to perform as good in that G440? Maybe not. Club speed's like around 105-ish. I'm not kind of swinging it like mega fast there, radium. That's pretty good, so efficiency looks pretty good. It's in the window, isn't it? Control's actually pretty good with that, so it was 260 carry, 287 total. So definitely feels a bit better. I feel like I can get a bit more control with this guy, but also I feel like I could potentially like move it a bit better here. Alright, a bit quicker there, so 107 club, 159.5 ball speed. Excuse me. Launch condition pretty good, so pretty high launch that, wasn't it? Spin was low, so it's going to be really chasing on the fairway. 267.5 carry, 298 total there. Definitely feels better with this 10 black in. Feels like a different club, to be honest with you, in terms of how I'm able to hit this here. High launch there, isn't it? Definitely keep that spin down. It's interesting that, isn't it? A little bit high on the face out there, but definitely launch it high. You can see 106 club, 158 ball speed, 14.5 launch. So that's pretty high for me there. So launch and land were quite high. Spin was still quite low though. 111 foot peak height, 272 carry, 294 total there. A little bit high in the face. Didn't feel like great strike. It was actually quite high in the face there. So smash is still good there at 149. So optimum for that. Well, 1.5 really, isn't it? 1.48, 1.49, 1.5 is kind of what we're looking for. If we can get it into the fives, that's phenomenal. So that's encouraging, that, isn't it? I've not struck that great. Control's still pretty good. Smash is still quite high, so that means I'm rinsing all the kind of the energy out of the swing. The transfer of energy from me, club to the ball is good, and don't feel like I put like the best swing on that there, to be fair. So let's keep going with this. This feels great, this club, by the way. So 107 club, 160 ball speed. Launch conditions are pretty good there, aren't they? 168 total, 195, 168 carry, 295 total. Pretty good. That felt nice. That maybe just a hair low, isn't it? Just a little, right at the bottom of the launch window, that, isn't it? So, you know, acceptable. Definitely going to be acceptable. It's going to run, isn't it? Maybe it's kind of the windier conditions then, but is that kind of ideal for what I want to see? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's just a smidge on the low side. Wow. I mean, I genuinely nearly missed that. Whew! That was a dreadful swing, good Lord. I mean, that was a tragic swing. Long way right, isn't it? However, saying that, bearing in mind how poorly I struck that there, that's so far out the toe, the smash is still not terrible, the launch condition is not terrible. 265-ish carry, 287 total. Relative to how I hit that there, that shows in terms of an LST driver, not necessarily always a forgiving club. This is really usable. I mean, that is a long way off the toe. That was a shocking swing, that. I'll try not to hit the grooves this time. That's how far in the toe that last one was. It was almost in the grooves. That's how bad that was. So significant pilot error, but actually on the golf course, if that's as bad as it's going to get, still a degree of functionality to that, really, isn't it? In spite of me being putting literally the worst swing in the world, isn't it? Alright, that felt pretty decent. A smidge out the toe still. 107 club, 159 ball. Launch conditions pretty good. 267 carry, 291 total. Very impressed how functional this driver is for an LST. Very, very impressive. Don't feel like I'm maybe maxing it out in terms of distance, but club 106 club, 158 ball speed. Smash was pretty good there, isn't it? 1.50. Launch, spin, land are pretty good. Peak height pretty good, and right in the window, that, isn't it? You can kind of see that is plumb in the window. Launching quite high, stayed in the window all the way through. 269 carry, 292 total. So pretty good shot. So decent bit of kit, that. Very, very usable, that, isn't it? So not a stereotypical LS low spin, difficult club to use. I swung it woeful there, and it was more than usable, wasn't it? Okay, so max in hand. Not actually had a look at the head yet with it on the shaft. Interesting. It doesn't actually look visually. It doesn't really look that different to LST. Maybe slightly more towed in, isn't it? Slightly less off, slightly more offset. Slightly, yeah. That actually looks pretty good. Looks great. That carbon wrap, that finish looks superb. Looks great, that. But as a head to sit down to, that looks pretty decent. Let's give it a whack. See how we get on here. Kept the Tensei black in this. So let's see if this performs. Okay, so it's playing at 45 and here. This is playing, the Tensei black's playing at 45.5 inches here. Maybe left. Sure is. Ta-ta. 159 ball. Smash is good, but it is off the planet left. 262 carry, 290 overall. Put a bit better string on this one. Actually, definitely looks more, make it a little bit more offset on this guy. Which for me is not ideal. The 107 club, 159 ball. Launch conditions pretty good. Smash is good. Launch conditions are pretty good. 262 carry, 289 total. Okay, that good. 108 club, 161 ball. Smash was good. Launch conditions, that is a high-low spinner. That felt good as soon as I hit it. It felt maybe it's just a bit north of the sweet spot that there. 275 carry, 300 overall. Oh, that felt hot off the face, that. Right in the launch window, that, isn't it? Not much kind of curve on that as well. If that's anything to go by, if we can kind of get a bit better handle on side to side, my directional control. If we can get this guy firing like that, we're going to be good. Alright, 108 club, 160 ball speed. A little bit spinny, that one, interesting. Spun it up a bit, that. So that's what kind of pulled the carry, the total back a little bit. Yeah, so overall pretty good. So speed 108, ball speed 160. So it's interesting, ball speed up was 160 there, smash was pretty good. Just spun it up a little bit. So just hit it a bit high, spun it up a little bit more, and that's why it's kind of stalled out a little bit more. You can kind of start it out in the window pretty nicely, and then it's kind of hit the base of the window there. So just spun it a little bit more there. Definitely more pilot than the equipment doing that though. Left, no, actually pretty good. So 107 club, 159 ball speed. Spin was much better, so 700 RPM lower, well, give or take anyway, lower. So just moving it more forward. 268 carry, 296 total. So not much deviation in the flight. Feels pretty hot off the face, this I must admit. Feels like a little bit more response than the LST. Don't know whether I've got the same control over it really. 108 ball speed, 108 club, 161 ball, smash is still good. Launch conditions are okay there. Only thing I would say there is I've obviously hit it left, close the face down a little bit more then. Control's not great, is it? 273, carry 295, 296 total. This one appears to be going further, but potentially not quite as consistent with the control. Impressive considering I nearly missed it. Now that's a great sign, that, isn't it? So 108 club, 158 ball speed. Smash was a little bit down, but that was a long way from the centre there. I really kind of lost. Just a terrible swing really, wasn't it? But that being said, it's carried it 271, it's gone 297 overall with a bad swing. So I suppose this is what this technology is all about really, isn't it? Ping have said that the centre, the sweet spot is maxed out in terms of their CT rating, in terms of how quick they can get the ball coming off the face. And what they're trying to do is really maximise the potentials away from the sweet spot. So for folk like me who's not in the middle, it's going to make it more functional. So 108 club, 161 ball speed, the launch conditions pretty good there, 274 carry, 296 total. I'm moving a bit faster now, so a bit more warmed up. I guess naturally that gives us a pretty big advantage. So I'm gonna circle back with the LST in a second. I'm gonna keep on with the max just for the time being, but I'm gonna put the Tour Black shaft in. So really what rationale behind me changing here is this is a lower torque shaft. So torque represents twist capacity a shaft can get. I'm obviously missing it to the left here. When I hit it good, I'm hitting it great. When I'm not hitting it great, I'm missing it left. So lower torque setting, theoretically, all things being equal, should help me get a wee bit more control there. So max, G440 max 9-degree head with the Tour Black shaft in now. Let's give this a whack and see how we go. Tour Black 2.0. So these shafts are Ping's in-house stuff. These are actually made by Adjustability, but these are superb shafts from previous generations of Ping driver. So excited to give this a whack, see how we get on here. Oof, that felt good. Woo! 108 club. Spinny. Interesting. That is interesting. So 108 club, 161 ball speed. Launch conditions weren't quite as good there. Maybe just a hair on the spinny side, wasn't it? 272 carry, 292 total. Felt good that though. I mean, if I can have that type of control, that is a tight draw there, isn't it? So certainly not complaining with that. I just need to get that fella moving a bit further forward, smidge lower. Left. No, actually all right. So 108, 109 club, 161 ball, smash was pretty decent. That was a high launch, wasn't it? High launch, low spin, really kind of moving that forward, pretty high, kind of peak height at 112, 277 carry, 299 overall. So that's like a long carry for me that I don't necessarily always carry that far, from truth be told. So That felt good. This feels great with the shafting, by the way. Woo! Hopefully this is going to give me that combination of the raw distance I was getting with the 10-8 black in this head, but definitely seems tighter control. That lower torque shaft seems to have helped, just a wee bit more stable, allow for my personal deficiencies in terms of controlling the ball flight. Move ball, that quite high in the face there, to be fair, so actually felt pretty decent. That high in the face. So 109 club, 162 ball, smash was okay, but it was quite high, quite spinny there, isn't it? So I kind of lost a fair bit of distance there. You can kind of see that's above the window on that occasion. That is not the club's fault, that is me. 276 carry, 293 total. So a couple more shots with this, see where we get. That being said, it was a bit high and a little bit spinny. Maybe it's not optimal kind of like flight conditions, but still straight, controllable, isn't it? Ooh, that feels hot. A bit left, mine. It was definitely lower. 109 club, 163 ball. Smash was pretty good. It's a little bit more left on that occasion, isn't it? So he's not the best. 270 carry, 297 total. I'm going to circle back to the LST. I'm swinging it a bit quicker here, so obviously a bit more warmed up. I'm going to keep this 2 black in. That's LST 9, it's got the weight on the side. Let's put it in the flat setting on the hosel. This one seemed straighter, the max seemed longer. Still not unsure what the best is for me, so let's give this a go. Definitely sits a bit more open, this sub. Potentially this head looks a bit more pleasing to my eye. A bit more confidence inspiring head for me. Not that the max was a bad looking head. Actually sometimes at points it was quite difficult to distinguish the difference between the two, but let's see how we go. Great strike that, to be fair. So the key thing between these two, between the LST and the max, was I was moving the max faster. So is that because I'm a bit more warmed up and a bit more loose now, or is it because of the head, the club, the shaft, whatever? So the club speed again dropped a little bit more, wasn't it? I was getting to 108, maybe sometimes low 109s. Club speed's dropped, so I actually hit that okay, but it's just a bit slower again. So let's see if this continues here. I think in terms of preference, I do like the look of this head a wee bit more. Definitely confidence inspiring, more so for me than that other one. I put some pretty dreadful swings on him and they're still working pretty good, aren't they? 108 club, 160 ball, smash, launch conditions were better there. 273 carry, 295 total. Let's do a couple more. Even that didn't feel great strike wise. It's a very good test really, because I'm not actually in the middle of the face that much here. So this is really testing out Ping's theory of the face being hotter all over the face here. I'm really putting that to the test because I'm hitting it all over the shop here. That's transporting the ball a bit faster. But it's also giving me decent control in terms of where it's going there. A good example, 109 club, 161 balls. Launch conditions are tight there. That's like a pretty high, low spin in the launcher. 272 total, 301. 272 carry, 301 total there. This feels good. I think the great thing with both the drivers is they are super usable. Man, cannot believe how easy. For an LST, this is wildly easy to use. How many LSTs you can say that about? .108 club, 162 ball. Again, launch conditions pretty decent. 274 carry, 297 total. Just feels strong. It feels really good. A great blend of power, a great blend of being able to control the ball flight. Definitely hitting this straight. I mean, there's definitely more offset on that max versus the LST. I think fundamentally this is the reason why I'm hitting this better. I had the CG shifter in the same position on both. I did flatten the loft sleeve out here, so that could have that's probably made a bit of a difference. Just feels great. Hitting the window, superb there. So 108 club, 161 ball, smash was good, launch conditions good. Right in the window, 272 carry, 296 total. A bit low on the face out there, but even with that, still low on the face, isn't it? But how good is this driver? Man, this driver is a joke how easy it is to use. Man, that was low on the face. 108 club, 160 ball speed. Somehow smash is still 149. That was well below the sweet spot there. Really impressive. It's definitely a lower ball flight, lower in the window, but still 269 carry, 296 total. And that was with a really poor strike again. This isn't just going to be for a good player this year either. This is going to be great for players who have high spin. When we're in the trenches fitting people, we see a lot of recreational players with high spin. But generally speaking, they struggle with a lower spin driver because the margin for error, the functionality of non-centered strikes are not typically that great with these clubs. Boy oh boy, does this buck the trend. So overall, the Max was a really functional driver, provided good speed, so just under 108 on average club speed, over 160 ball speed on average. Launch conditions were pretty consistent, so I actually hit the window a lot of the time. There was some slight variation in terms of launch conditions, but nothing too crazy to worry about. The biggest concern really was the side to side, was carrying it over 272 on average and over 295 total. So some really good numbers. Definitely had more of a left miss with this, in spite of tuning the club to try and exacerbate that in terms of the CG shifter at the back was in fade. It was on a flat lap. I tried a higher lofted face and lofted it down to try and open it more up. In spite of all these things, I was still hitting it left, and my concern was the way this club sat at address, definitely more closed than the LST, was one of the primary influences that. That being said, this was still a good driver. I was just concerned with how far left my poor shots were going. The LST was slightly slower, so swung it at just over 107, almost like a mile an hour slower with this guy. Average ball speed was about 159, so a little bit slower. Launch conditions were really consistent with this. Really liked how tight my trajectories and my side-to-side dispersion were. Had excellent control over the golf ball in spite of putting some absolute shocking swings on it. I think this is testament to how easy this club is to use, in spite of some really changeable strike locations. Actually hit it quite consistent. I would not have thought that based on where I was striking it on the face and how consistent I was striking it. Launch conditions were good. Carry was 269. Total distance was just over 294. Overall, this club provided me with good ability to create speed and power and energy, but also had excellent control over the ball flight. Not just necessarily side-to-side dispersion, but also hit my launch window, keeping the same trajectory and getting this thing moving forward. So what is my summary of the G440 driver? Overall, really impressed. I think Ping have done a great job to provide the golf market with a really good, strong spectrum of drivers that are going to help a lot of golfers this season. As a starting point, I'm so impressed with how easy this club is to use. In spite of my shortcomings with my strike during the testing, it was just so efficient. Even with at its worst strike, smash didn't really drop, power accumulation didn't really drop a huge amount. Naturally, you're going to get some drop off, but it was so incredibly impressive how strong this club was to maintain good ball speeds, good distances, even when strike was poor. A big priority of this driver has been to get the face functionality to be much more efficient in non-centered areas, and I think Ping have absolutely nailed it with this. It was so incredibly impressive how it functioned on non-centered strikes. Another priority for Ping was to get in amongst it in the speed game. Ball speeds, carry distances, total distances, and get in amongst the fastest drivers on the market. And I really think they've done a great job with that. The design of this club is fascinating in the sense that actually a lot of mass is being pulled out, whether it's the head, the hosel, the shaft. And with the redistribution of the weight, the tungsten weight at the back, the CG shifter is heavier than it has ever been before. That's pulled the centre of gravity low and back to help get these high launch conditions. The face being shallow has also contributed towards that, and the design of the club, keeping the low spin, is really created some excellent launch conditions that any golfer benefit from. Overall, if you're looking for a driver that is long, that's consistent, that is easy to use, you are going to be hard pushed to find a driver better than this. Clearly, all results are situational. As we all know, our golf swing is like a fingerprint, and our needs therefore are subjective. It's not cookie cutter. It's always worthwhile. Go and get fitted, get this club in your hand, try it, and see how you get on with it. During testing, I've experienced some good results in spite of my indifferent strike. Now let's think about that from the viewpoint of a recreational golfer. Their strike location is probably going to move around probably even more than mine, and would this driver benefit them? Based on what I've seen today, I have absolutely no doubt that this driver will help most recreational golfers, and I think it's going to be really interesting to see how this stacks up against the rest of the market. Being objective, a lot of the things that have potentially held Ping back in the past, the distance, the sound, the acoustic sound, which I thought was much better. It's definitely a quieter sound, not as high pitched, which has sometimes put people off, isn't it? The look, it looks like all of the range looks like a player's club, really, relatively speaking. Even the SFT put on the floor looks like a really good looking golf club, and still relatively unique in the sense that the turbulators are still on top. They play a role, they help with stability. I've never been the biggest fan of Ping drivers, but credit where credit is due. Ping have done a superb job with this driver. They've created something that is super easy to use. It's long, it looks good, it sounds good, it feels good. This is the real deal. Thanks so much for watching today, guys. It's been a real pleasure to have you with us today. If you've got any more questions or queries surrounding this video, please feel free to send them across. We are always on hand to help wherever you are in the world. Be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. More great information coming soon, guys. Thanks so much, and see you again soon.